today we're going to go through the past year paper of SPE that is compiled by SBC Brunei. So thank you to all the teachers who have helped to compile this for us. Please don't forget to write down your name, your class, and the date. And now we're going to go through the questions together. Okay, topic 11.1 is for blood, and white blood cells protect the body against diseases. This is true. The figure below shows the components of blood. Components means composition as well, and it means that what kind of cells and what kind of compounds and mixtures that we can find in the blood. Remember that blood is actually a tissue and it's made up of different types of cells, and also blood has two parts. So blood has a living cells part, so living cells, and it also has the plasma part, which is the liquid part, and plasma is made up of 70% water and 30% dissolved substances. But it also has these things, so it's not just living cells, but I would just say cells, because I wouldn't consider platelets as living. So it's made out of platelets, red blood cells, and also white blood cells. What kind of dissolved substances can we find in blood? It can be gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. It can be nutrients, T-R-I-E-N-T-S, like glucose, sugars, and amino acid. And it also can contain waste products like urea and toxins, and also minerals. All right, now that we've done a short recap, let's get into this question. It says here, identify, so make sure that you find out what is X, Y, and Z. So X here refers to the really tiny bits there, and that should be your blood platelets. So tick here. And Y is actually the liquid part of blood, and that is the plasma. Z over here is the really big cell there, and the biggest cell in blood should be the white blood cells. So the answer here is B. Okay, next question. The figure below shows one type of blood cell. So this right here, you can see that there's like this space right here, and that kind of refers to the fact that this cell doesn't have a nucleus. So if you move that to the side view, it kind of looks like that. So that part right there is empty. That's why here as the bird's eye view. And then this is actually the side view. Okay, so name it, and what is its function? This is your red blood cell, and the main function is to transport oxygen. How does it transport oxygen? It actually has these pigments right here. So it actually has these red pigments called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin can actually bind to oxygen, so it helps to carry oxygen to all parts of your body. Okay, next, figure shows 4 components of blood. Which component helps to carry oxygen? And you know this one should be the red blood cell. Right here, this one is actually a white blood cell, but this one is called a phagocyte because of the lobed nucleus. Call that a lobed nucleus. And this one is a lymphocyte. Has like a large circular nucleus. These small little things that look like cells, these are your platelets. Platelets are fragments of like cells. Okay, so oxygen is the answer is A. Figure below is a diagram which shows 3 components of blood. name the component X, Y, and Z and state the function. This time you have to write it down. So X right there is your red blood cell. The main function is to transport oxygen. Okay, Y right here is referring to, that one is definitely a lymphocyte, this one's a phagocyte, but they're both white blood cells. So you write down the main function is to, let's see, white blood cell, so to make antibodies. So that one's the lymphocyte, so it does make antibodies, but mainly to fight infections. Protects the body from foreign particles. That one is something that you can write down as well. Z, oh wait, sorry, Y is not a white blood cell. Y is right here. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with my eyes? So Y is actually a platelet. I'm so sorry. I hope that you guys didn't write that down, and I hope that you found my mistake right there. So Y is a platelet, and platelets help to, there's this thing called blood clotting. Blood clotting means that, you know, when you get, like, for example, you have a cut on your skin, and then after that, when you get that cut, and then you get, like, it gets bloody, doesn't it? So when the blood comes out, what happens in the end is that you kind of get like this brown color. Okay, I don't have brown, so can I just use orange? Okay, so you close that wound, right? And what closes that wound is actually with the help of the tiny platelets. So the platelets actually kind of form a mesh, and they help to kind of close up this wound, so that in the end you get like a scab in the end, and the scab actually helps to, so what you call that action of them kind of binding together is called clotting. So it helps to protect your skin and even internally from any foreign objects or even viruses and bacteria to enter your skin. That's why you have like scabs in your body. Okay, so Z is actually this part. So Z is this big part, so it's a red blood cell. Wait, what am I writing? White blood cell. White blood cell. White blood cells' main function is to fight infection by viruses and bacteria. It also makes antibodies, but let's just stick with this definition for now. Okay, now we have to make a large drawing of component Z. So component Z, where is that? It's this guy right here. So it's a white blood cell that I keep on making a mistake on. And then label the parts of Z. So if we just look at its picture right here, and if you still have the notes that I asked you, I think it was blood passage. Blood passage, please read me. Yeah, it's this one. So if you remember this worksheet that I actually gave this to you, I have given you kind of like drawings and labelings. So for the picture over there, that's actually referring to a lymphocyte, right? Because the nucleus is not lobed, It is big and circular and round. So all you have to actually label is just the cell membrane, cytoplasm, and a large round nucleus, because it is essentially an animal cell. So all you have to do is you follow that kind of shape. So it's like kind of circular like that. So I would draw it like this. I think that's the shape. And then you draw where the nucleus is, so it's more to the bottom. So like this. So just as accurate as you can, like as similar as you can. And then all you have to do is just you use a ruler. I don't have a ruler here. Just draw a line right there, and then you label this one the cell membrane. And then here, ruler as well, you label that as the cytoplasm. And here, that's the nucleus. And that's all. Oh, yeah, that's all. Okay. Next up is the blood vessels, 11.2. Which of the following is a type of blood vessel? Trachea is actually your windpipe. So if you have seen a picture of a lung, the trachea is this part right here. The esophagus has to do with your digestive system. So after the mouth area, what happens is that you have like a really long tube right there, and it actually extends to connect to the stomach. So this is your face, and your mouth is right there. Okay. Yep, this right here is your OESOPHAGUS, esophagus, and another name for it is gullet. So it's actually part of the digestive system, not the blood system. Intestine, so you have two types of intestine. You have the small intestine, and you also have the large intestine. So it's definitely not that, but a vein is definitely a blood vessel. That's D. Which of the blood vessels in the figure below carry blood away from the heart under high pressure? So high pressure, if you remember pressure, the definition of pressure is actually force exerted on an area. Force divided by area. So your heart actually gives out a force, especially when it contracts, to pump the blood. So that pumping gives out a force at the walls of the blood vessels. So if you can see here, smaller area, larger area, small-ish area. So this one has a larger force compared to this one and this one. This is your artery, because you can see that the wall is very thick and the lumen is very small. This is the lumen as well, and this is actually really big, so there's less force there. The pressure is lowest. This is your vein, and you can see here, why is it circular? It's because this refers to one cell thick, and a one cell thick blood vessel is referring to your capillary. So carrying blood away from the heart, you know that there are different types of blood vessels. There's these three, and they have different functions. So the artery actually carries blood away from the heart, and you have bringing it back to the heart, toward the heart, which is the vein. And capillary is actually in between, so it carries blood from the artery to the vein. So carrying blood away from the heart under high pressure, very high pressure, it's only the artery. Answer is A. The figure below shows the cross-section of a human blood vessel. What is the function of this type? So if you can see that the lumen size is pretty wide right here, so the diameter here is pretty wide, you can definitely tell that that is a vein already. So the function of a vein, remember, so veins are the only blood vessels that actually have these things called the valves. So how can you tell the direction of blood? You look at this part, so right here. So that one, it's like an arrow, isn't it? So it's saying that blood is carried away from here to here, so that direction to the left. But sometimes your veins also can be like this. So if you look at that, if you look over here, the direction of the arrowhead is to the right. So that's how we find out the direction of blood flowing. Okay, so back to here. This is a vein, and its main function is actually to carry blood towards the heart. So it's not away, it's actually, bringing it back to the heart, back to the heart. And it's not exchange of substance between tissues because it has like a really thick layer here of tissue, so you can't have things coming in and out. But for the capillary, it's only one cell thick, so it's very, very thin, so things can come in and out of the cell. Yes, the blood vessel. Okay, so it carries, so our options is B and C, but which one is this? So carrying blood towards the heart, yes. Under low pressure, yes. Carry blood back to the heart under high pressure, no, it's very low because of the surface area. So the answer is B. Which one of the following describes a vein? So again, your vein. Thick walls? Nope. Thick walls? Nope. Thin walls? Yes. Thin walls? Yes. With valves? Yes, 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 yes. Carries blood away from the heart? No. To the heart? Yes. Away from the heart? No. To the heart? Yes. We can see that D has all of the correct info, so the answer is D. Figure below shows the various components of blood vessels. Identify the type of blood vessel and the component of the blood. Okay, so you can see here it's one cell thick, and you can see the red blood cells here, and they are actually kind of in front of each other. So you know that this right here is a capillary, and that's the only one we have here. So the answer is C. Next question. The graph in figure below shows the results of an investigation to find the effects of exercise on pulse rate. Okay, so let's look at this graph. So during exercise and after exercise, use the graph to predict the pulse rate of a student's 20 minutes after the exercise. So this is during exercise from 0 to 15, and we want 20 minutes after. So where are we going to look at the x-axis here? This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. So we have to look at the time. So this one is pulse rate, so beats per minute. So if we want to know about the time, we look down here at the x-axis. So we have 15 minutes the exercise, so 15 minutes plus 20 minutes. So we want to look at the graph at 35 minutes. So we have here 35. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up here at that point of the graph. And then we're going to see on the left side here. Okay. So at 35 minutes on the graph, that is, the 35 is, yep, right there. So I'm just going to draw an X so it's easy for us to actually look at. So that part right there over here, that's the part of the graph that we're looking at, because that is where 35 minutes is on the graph. So this part here, and we need to know about the heart rate, right? So we're going to follow this line over here, and we can see that after 20 minutes is around 70. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little squares in between each of the big squares here. So you know that each of that is 2 units. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's around 72 beats per minute. So at 35 minutes, so after 20 minutes of exercise, that is at 35 minutes, the heartbeat per minute is 72. So the answer here is B. Table below shows information about the lifestyle of 4 50-year-old. Which one will have a healthy heart? So a healthy heart, it really depends. If you exercise well, then you're actually exercising your heart. So you need to exercise. Balanced diet is also important, because if you eat too much fat, then a lot of fat will be deposited around your arteries, and that will not be good. And not smoking is also a healthy habit, so the answer is B. Mahmoud did 4 different kinds of activities to investigate the effect of exercise on his pulse rate. So you can see that he did exercises. So he took all his pulse rate before, which is 72 minutes. So all the starting is the same, so that's pretty good. And then type of exercise: walking for 1 minute, doing sit-ups for 1 minute, jumping jacks for 2 minutes, and jogging for 3 minutes. Then he also took note of his heartbeat after the exercise. But as you can see, there's something that is not equal in this experiment, and that is actually the time. So this is not fair, because how can you test for everything if the duration is different? So carry out all the 4 activities in 1 minute only should be the best one. Because this one says that change all activities to jumping jacks, but that means you're only going to test like one type of exercise, which is not what he wanted to do. He wanted to test for different kinds of activities. Increasing jumping jacks activity to 3 minutes. But why? You're going to make it much more longer, so that's still not fair. Reduce jogging activities to 2 minutes only. It's still going to be different from walking and doing sit-ups, so it's best to have everything the same to make it fair. Okay, now we have the structure of the heart. I think this is the last part. Vena cava is connected to the right atrium of the heart. Okay, remember when we talk about the right or the left? So if you want it much more easier, just draw a heart for yourself right here, and then you draw it into half. Then if you're looking at the heart, and this is like a person's heart, yeah, it's not supposed to be that big, but let's just pretend. And this one is the left hand of the person, right? And this is the right. So this is the left and this is the right. Okay, so the vena cava is saying that is on the right hand side, which is true. It is on the right hand side. If you don't remember very well, I think I did have, I'm not sure if I actually drew the heart for you, but I think I did for one of your slides. What is heart deluxe? Okay, not studio paint. Oh yeah, it is this one. So I drew you guys a full picture of the heart. So basically I kind of drew this part by part so that you can actually see this in the animation. So right here, this part is a vena cava, but I think it's better for me to just look for your side. So let's just see if I can find it anywhere here. Is it part 1 or is it part 2? So this one, parts of the heart. Yeah, that's right, got it. Okay, so you can see here is the vena cava, and it is on the right hand side of your heart. So let's get back to that sheet. It is correct, Pulmonary artery. So pulmonary always refers to the lungs, and artery, remember, carries blood away from the heart. So the pulmonary artery, so it's right here. You have two arteries that carry the blood like towards the lungs. So artery means away from the heart, right? So this is the pulmonary artery, and this is going back to the heart. So this is pulmonary vein. So actually, this part on the right hand side is always the deoxygenated blood. And then after it goes into the lungs, then finally you get the oxygenated blood. So actually this one, the answer is pulmonary artery carries, it actually carries deoxygenated blood. Okay, I should really write this down properly. Deoxygenated blood. Oh, yes, it is deoxygenated. It is not oxygenated. It is false. Valves found in the heart and veins ensure blood flow forward and backward. That is incorrect. It only ensures it going forward, only one direction only. So this is false. The valves of the heart chamber prevent blood from flowing backwards. The valves flowing backwards, that is true. So valves help to prevent backflow of blood. Figure below shows the structure of the heart. Which structure of the heart exerts a larger force? You can see here that the walls are much more thicker than those walls here. That means that when it contracts, then it has higher pressure here. And the answer is, so which structure exerts a larger force? It should be D. Figure below shows section through the human heart as well, which features just blood leaving the heart at Q. So the blood will leave the heart through the aorta to all parts of the body. And it has higher pressure than at P. So P actually goes to the lungs. And that's the pulmonary artery. Over here is a pulmonary vein. Oh no, this one right here. This right here, anti-D that teacher erased, that's the Vena Cava right there. Okay. So we want to know about blood leaving at Q here to the aorta at higher pressure. So again, we look at this thickness of the walls. So you can see that the thickness of T is much more thicker wall than U. That's D. Study the diagram of the heart below. Which of the part is correctly labeled? So aorta, yes, this is correct. Pulmonary vein, so this one is incorrect. Oh wait, hold on. That's not a valve either. This one's incorrect. Yeah, and this one is the left ventricle. Yep, so this one's asking about correctly labeled. So the only correctly labeled one there is the aorta. This one should be the right atrium. And then this is actually the left ventricle. And right here, that's called a septum. And it divides the right hand side and the left hand side of the heart. Figure below shows the structure of a human heart with a main blood vessel. Which blood vessel transports blood from the heart to the lungs? So from the heart means away from the heart. And this should be an artery. And to the lungs, it's always called pulmonary artery. So the pulmonary artery is here, A. The blood flowing from the pulmonary vein is different from the blood flowing in other veins, because most veins are from your body and they carry the oxygenated blood, but pulmonary vein carries blood from the lungs to the heart, and this is oxygenated because it just, you know, it left the lungs, and the lungs have a lot of oxygen, so it is actually richer in oxygen. That's why it's different than other veins in your body. Figure below shows blood vessels carrying blood to and away from the heart. Which of the following blood vessels carry oxygenated blood? Remember, this one is all of your, on your right hand side is always your deoxygenated blood. That's why we label it as blue. And on your right hand side is your all of your oxygenated blood. So the ones that carry oxygenated blood here is 3 and 4. So left hand side 3 and 4. D is your answer. Question 11. This is your last question. Which diagram shows the correct sequence of the blood flow in the circulatory system? So here, this is what we call the double circulation. I know that it looks like, whoa, what is this talking about? It's just like a really different diagram, but it essentially shows the same kind of movement. So let's look at our heart. So if we want to draw it like a simple heart, so they're kind of drawing it like this, and you also have your right hand side and then your left hand side, and then it's saying that goes in here, so you have to label also. So I'm going to use all parts of the body as green, so body, and you also have your lungs right here. Okay, so what happens is that when you go on to the right hand side of the heart, it should actually have, going into the right hand side of the heart should be right here, carrying deoxygenated blood. So the blood flow should actually be going inwards right here. And then towards the lungs should actually be, so from the right hand side towards the lungs. So you're gonna have here to here, and then the lungs back to the heart, and then this part right here should go to the body. So the only one that actually makes sense, I think, is, okay, so here is the right atrium and the ventricle, so this is right and left. So it says here that the right hand side is going to all parts of the body. That's incorrect. It only goes towards the lungs, the right hand side. And then if we look at C, there's that crossing in between, and blood never mixes unless there is a defect in the heart. And over here, the right atrium is also bringing blood to all parts of the body, and that's incorrect. Over here, you see that all parts of the body going towards the heart. That's correct. And then it's leaving towards the lungs, and then from the lungs back to the heart, and then from the left hand side, that's your oxygenated blood back to all parts of the body. The answer here is C. It's just a bit confusing because we usually draw it differently, but it essentially shows the circulation as well. So make sure to try to apply your knowledge. If you see something new, that's what usually tests due to you, to test your understanding of that knowledge. So I hope that this helps. I'm sorry for all the rambling and the mistakes that I did, but we all learn from our mistakes. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day, guys.